Good. Lupita is about to come through with the Cabinet Secretary, Hassan Mario. So as they come in, I hope that we will do the right Kenyan thing and karibisha our wonderful Kenyan Oscar winner. So here she comes, Lupita Nyong'o. Lupita, I think on behalf of everybody who is here, and a lot of them are coming from the arts sector, from the different areas of the arts. You have here, of course, people in theatre and film, but you've also got people in the visual arts and music. But I think more importantly, you've got young people who are aspiring to achieve what you have achieved. On behalf of all of them, I say, welcome home. I will kick off by inviting the Cabinet Secretary, Hassan Mario, to make a few welcoming remarks, after which we look forward to hearing from Lupita. Karibu.
Ladies and gentlemen, and our sister Lupita, mine is first to pass my greetings and the greetings of the government to our star, our icon, our heroine, Lupita, and also welcome you home. Karibu sana, Lupita. Now, you're coming to a country with new film incentives for the film industry, one of the best in Africa, one of the best in the world. I'll quote Cabinet Secretary for the Treasury when he read this year's speech for the budget. And he said, I quote him, "Mr. Speaker, the growth of the film industry has a huge potential to attract and nurture Kenya's talents and position this sector as a key driver of economic growth and employment creation, and to enable this latent industry to attain a competitive advantage like the rest of the leading film production destinations and create jobs for our youth. He proposes to exempt from withholding tax all payments made by foreign film producers to actors and crew members. In addition, VAT in respect of goods and services purchased for use in filmmaking will be exempt." So what that means is Kenya is the destination for Lupita's next film, hopefully. So we are laying the railway line, as it were, to ensure that in the future the artists can live off their talent. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. This is quite something to have people like towering over you. It's really good to be home. Thank you for the very, very, very warm welcome. I appreciate it. We've been planning this homecoming for a while. These things take time to put into place, but when we were planning it, the first thing that I wanted to do was talk about wildlife conservation. I am the new ambassador for Wild Aid, an organization that is working on the conserving of elephants. And I thought that was a great project to come home with and to speak about. And then my heart just ached to speak to people who are artists like me. So I asked, can I talk to artists and students? And Safaricom and Kempinski and everyone, Safaricom especially, made this happen. And so I want to thank them especially for making this dream come true. So I want to take this opportunity to talk about dreams. I said something recently that has been quoted a lot. Your dreams are valid. And I thought I would take today to illuminate a bit about what I meant. Not just about validating your dreams, but realizing them. I wanted to speak today not only to those dreamers, but to those surrounding them. The parents, the teachers, and mentors who encourage and nourish us all. You see, a dream can only be realized when it is validated. Validated by yourself, and then by those around you. Without the support of those you love, a dream remains just that. In order for that little voice in your head, that feeling in your gut, or that tingle down your spine to be called to action again and again, you must be encouraged to explore, embraced for your differences, and engaged in a community that fosters creative self-expression. I'm so grateful for everything I have in my life today. I know there are parents and teachers and guardians and mentors out there with children who might seem a little odd or eccentric or daydream a little more than usual, sing a little louder, walk with a certain swing, or speak in their own singular staccato. I want you to know this. The best way to help that child thrive is to listen deeply to what they need. Don't just tolerate their differences, but embrace them. Encourage their unique gift. The best support, the only type of support I've seen work over the long term, is when we encourage the next generation to seek out their own unique forms of self-expression. It is when we validate the dreams, not just of ourselves, but of those around us, that we can begin to share in the abundance of a world where those dreams are realized. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Cindy, and I'd like to ask, what would you advise to someone who's extremely inexperienced in terms of they've never acted in anything in Kenya, and they've just done school plays, and they have this dream of being an actress?
My name is Perez, and I have this question. We find that most of us have dreams, but along the way we get derailed and disrupted. What is this that has kept you focused and kept you going towards achieving your dream?
Good question. So the first question was, what do you do when you have no experience? You find it, you get it. I started off in school plays, like I said. I was a passerby, and then I was a village girl, and I think I had maybe 5 more lines. And then my first play, my first big break was at the Phoenix Players playing Juliet in Romeo and Juliet. But what it is, and what I was just talking about in this speech, is that you have to look for opportunities where you are. You see, when I say that I didn't have my eye on the Academy Award, but I got there, but I found the value in my path at where I was in the present, in your surroundings. So, you know, there is some semblance of an industry here for the performing arts, and it doesn't necessarily have to be conventional. I did a public speaking class. I had no idea that that would come in handy. It has, you know. I did poetry recitation. I was just really just listening to myself and finding opportunities where I could hone a skill without a sense of that is where I didn't have an exact point at which I was traveling, but the goal was to develop myself as an artist, as an actor, as an expresser of stories. And I just found different avenues to do that. So if you can do that for yourself in your environment, make those opportunities happen. How do I remain determined? You know, the thing about being a public figure is that you usually see me on the best of days. On the other days, I'm locked up somewhere, you know, dealing with my own anxieties and my doubts and things like that. And but they are there. There are times when I really do not know what's going on. But I think when I talk about the gut, I really believe that we all have a compass inside of us. It's that thing when you're walking down the street and for some reason you feel you ought to cross. And too often we don't listen to that voice, where there's no rational reason why you should cross the street, but you do, and then you realize there's a dog on the other side, or, you know, someone is being robbed. You know, that gut instinct is what I feel can really lead you in the direction you need to go. We need to trust that gut because it is a very natural, instinctive, navigational tool. And for me, I spend a lot of time trying to refine my ears to listen to that gut.
Maybe I'll interject a question. I'll interject a question there now. You talked about the public figure that we see and then the private person who has doubts and questions, just as we all do. And again, this is another question that came up. I think we were sort of mentioning that, of course, the space that you're now working in is a space that is very structured in terms of the arts or the creative industry. And you have management now, and you have publicists. And one question was, how are you handling that question of being in control of the choices that you make, or does management make them for you? How do you deal with private time?
Yeah, it's very hard to find private time. That is for sure. But I am very fortunate. My team, my representation had to grow very fast because of the nature of 12 Years a Slave and the amount of publicity it was getting and everything. But I am so lucky to have the team that I have in place. And again, putting that team together was about listening to my gut. My manager, Dee Dee Ray, who is here, and she was the very first person on my team. Yeah. And Ellen Novak. Now, those two ladies were the first people on my team, and I joined up with them when I was still in school, and I met Dee Dee over lunch, and I connected with her. You know, the things she stood for, the fact that she had a very strong family, and that's something that's really important to me, you know, someone who has a sense of loyalty to their people, and she was human, and she just had a way about her, and that's that I felt I could trust. And I listened to my gut, and she was the first person on my team, and thanks to her, I got the role of 12 Years a Slave, and the rest is history. Now, so everyone that has been added to my team, all the representation I need, and unfortunately I need very many people at this point, they've been handpicked by me. And so they're people that I know are extremely good at their job and that I trust to speak on my behalf. And so I do feel a sense of control. I don't ever do anything, especially when it comes to acting. I'm in a wonderful position where I can choose what I do to a certain extent. And so I work on movies that I feel a real sense of connection to, and and that all is because I feel that my representation sees my vision and is able to help me realize it.
Lupita, I think on behalf of everyone here, and particularly the young ones who I know were terribly excited to be able to speak with you, converse with you, ask you questions, I want to say thank you for being an inspiration. Thank you for being so gracious and so generous, and we really wish you the best. And we hope that we'll be seeing a lot more of you in Nairobi.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.